All right, we are back with a new episode of Real in the Field. The world is officially on fire, and we've got so much stuff going on. What do we got going on in the world?
Well, the first thing I want to just briefly touch on, Shohei Ohtani. Is he...
Dude, making money. Making money on and off the field.
Okay, so the story's bouncing around all over the place, and it'll probably change...
Oh, it'll change.
Yeah, 5 more times.
Well, his story changed even in the last couple days.
His interpreter took money from him.
Yeah,
like slowly siphoned away. That's a proper term, right? Where you
siphon.
Yeah, siphon away $4.5 million.
Yeah. Well, the story changed. First, it was this guy had a gambling problem. And he borrowed some money from Shohei Ohtani to pay it. And it came from Shohei Ohtani's bank. And so he paid it on behalf of his friend because he got in too deep.
Well,
because he only makes $500,000 a year, by the way.
I know, poor guy.
Yeah.
But he gets to hang out with Ohtani. So, But yeah, so he was taking the money without Ohtani noticing. But then it switched to Ohtani, this dude got in way too deep.
Yeah.
And Ohtani paid off his debt. So But now it's flipped back.
Now it's back because I think Shohei Ohtani, somebody told him, hey, by the way, if you're paying money to a bookie or whatever it is, that's going to open up an immediate investigation.
Yes.
And then he was like, oh, no, he stole it.
Yeah. Take backs.
I'll take back. Hold on.
No, and then I heard that the bookie said no, that dude was betting on behalf of Ohtani.
Oh.
And so the story's but here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're never going to know the truth.
No, I mean, it's going to be here. It's going to be.
He's baseball's golden boy.
Yeah.
Right now.
They're not going to.
Dude, the fall guy was that interpreter.
Yeah.
Whether he did it or not or whatever, dude. That dude is. He is the fall guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll get a check for a couple years from now.
You think so? He'll get paid off?
Yes. He'll get paid off and he'll be.
But there's also some stuff in his history that didn't line up. Like his resume, he had on his resume that he worked as an interpreter for the Red Sox. The Red Sox came out and just said, that guy, we've never even seen that guy in our clubhouse before. There was some more stuff on where he went to college. There was a couple discrepancies in his resume.
Oh, so he didn't cross the I's or dot the T's and I's or whatever. Come on.
Yeah, tomato. You can call it blatantly lying on your resume to get a job that maybe you weren't qualified for. Who hasn't done that?
I thought him and Ohtani were boys.
I think they did.
I thought they came from Japan together.
Well, they did. So he was out here, and I think he actually went to high school or to college somewhere kind of locally. Like
Fullerton or Long Beach or something
like that, yeah. But he went,
or did he?
Yeah, we gotta check the records on that. Pull his transcripts,
his student ID card.
Yeah, I don't want to see that ASB sticker on that. But he met Ohtani back in Japan at I forget exactly what it was, and I think just from having worked in the MLB at some point, because maybe he did. There's some truth to that, but I think he just maybe exaggerated his involvement in the MLB. Either way, they became friends. He became his interpreter. Then either he or Ohtani started gambling, and then just kind of
Do you think it was Ohtani?
That's tough, man. I think that he is. I don't know what that. I know there's not to stereotype or anything, but the Japanese have there's a gambling It's
it's kind of part of the culture.
Part of the culture.
Sure.
Yeah. And maybe that just, it kind of followed him out here and he just wanted to be a part of it. I don't know. And then if he's betting and his interpreter said he never bet on baseball. But I don't know, you're gonna have to go through the receipts and see where in that.
Yeah, I think they probably did it together.
Yeah.
It was probably something that they dicked around, had fun with, hey man, what do you want to bet on today? And just
figured out the parlay and what he was gonna do.
Dude,
he's pitching on Wednesday, so all right, so I can at least let's parlay this, and if I'm gonna, depending on where I'm at, I could get us out of a jam if need be.
Well, I think it would be cool. I don't know, the dude probably had access to Ohtani's accounts. If you literally don't speak English,
yeah.
right? And you have a bank account and someone's like, oh, what's your password? Like,
Yeah.
you have to translate that like password, like put your password in.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the guy probably knew all of it, had access to it, and he probably trusted him. And dude, okay. And if someone takes $4.5 million from you slowly, a slow burn, dude, I'm sorry, you're gonna notice that.
I don't know though. I mean, can you imagine like whatever your bank account is? Like there is a number that is the equivalent.
It's just a little short than $4.5 million.
Yeah, I mean that might be like $100 to you and I. You know what I mean? Like, and in that regard, like it might be difficult to like notice that $100 is missing out of your account. You know, but I do think it's like now gotten to be a cover up. And let's just say the truth is this guy got in over his head. He was putting in big money because of Ohtani's name. Maybe he was just saying, hey, this is for Ohtani, and he was getting a line of credit.
That could
and
be
it got
too,
to a point where he was so in over his head, like he had to ask for his help. And Ohtani, being a solid dude and a solid friend, said, yeah, I'll cover your bets. I'll just send it from, give me the wiring information. I'll send it over. And if that's the case, then, I mean, that's just him being a good friend, but... Or he's placing the bets himself and he's...
Or he's a closet gambler.
Yeah, diminishing the game of baseball if he's having, like, anything to do with, like, putting bets on baseball.
Well, he did say, I've never bet on baseball.
Yeah.
I've never bet on anything, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But, dude, what... Like, we watch him, and we've watched him over the years play. We've gone to see him play... Seeing the dude in person on the field.
Yeah.
Like, and you create this persona of what you think he's like.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he could be a total dirtball for all we know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what he's saying in that dugout. Yeah, we don't know.
Anyways, just saying, it's a shady story. But we will never know the truth.
We'll never know the truth. And again, this has been a lot of layers to all of this for sure. And there's so much stuff going on. Like that is like one of like a dozen stories. Yeah. I now follow everything on The Blast, by the way. That's like where I get all my like news. And it just seems like day after day, there's just some new breaking story. Kate Middleton is like, there's a whole like kerfuffle with her. And
she's like sick, right?
So it turns out that she is sick, but at the onset of all this all stemmed from a picture that came out that it was on The Blast. They reported it. A picture came out that had some weird like Photoshop, like it was very clearly Photoshopped and very poorly Photoshopped too, by the way.
Of her?
Of not her specifically, but of a hand that was like in a family portrait. And her thumb of like somebody in the picture just looked so bizarre. It just was poorly photoshopped. Somebody just really didn't take the time to go through that and really make it a clean Photoshop.
Okay.
That's like, I mean, first of all, you're the royal family. You should have somebody that's able to Photoshop really well. I mean, this is going out to like millions, if not billions of people to see. But so it all stemmed from that picture. The picture came out. Everybody was like, what is going on? This is clearly Photoshopped. What else did they Photoshop? Then everything starts, like the speculation starts. Is there some cheating going on? Is there another woman?
I saw a thing where it said that I don't know what prince she's married to. What's the dude's name?
Oh, William?
Yeah. Him. What's his nuts? Has that he had a girlfriend. So that's not true?
No, I don't think any of that is true. And I think what ultimately what ended up coming out is that she was diagnosed with cancer.
Did they say what kind?
I don't recall what it was. And she's been just battling it. She was, in the hospital for a few weeks. And so it was like, like all of this like weird speculation. And then ultimately what ended up coming out, she put out like a post and said that she was dealing with that. But yeah, it's crazy now to see like still the pundits that all kind of go out and still are like poking fun and like saying all this stuff about what, her situation.
Well, do you know what I saw on The Blast?
What's that?
Have you heard anything about P.Diddy?
Oh my God. That's the wildest story. So, I don't know a lot of it, but what do you know?
Yeah, so the little bit that I know is that Homeland Security, like investigating like multiple parts of Homeland Security. So like LA, Miami, like all these different portions.
Yeah.
Like raided his stuff.
That's a federal agency.
Yeah, that's like big boy stuff. His kids got handcuffed. They searched through his stuff. His former girlfriend is claiming that she was drugged and like all this stuff happened to her.
Oh my gosh.
And there's like other things coming out now. Dude, they like went and like raided his stuff, dude. It's like,
dude, that is like, I mean, if you're going out raiding, like the whole purpose of that is to catch somebody off guard so that you don't lose evidence in a case that you're building.
Yeah.
That is like that's some heavy stuff.
He's claiming it's blackmail from the gal.
From an ex.
Yeah. But I don't see how she would get Homeland Security to
That's kind of a tall. You don't just call that in and just make a couple claims.
Yeah.
You need like to do a raid like that. I would imagine you need a judge's like
a warrant,
in order to do that.
Yeah.
And you can't just. That's not going to go off of like someone just mentioned this could possibly be going on.
Yeah. So, dude, I don't know what's going on there, but there's just a lot.
I've heard some weird stuff about that guy. I think he's.
I have too.
Yeah, he's got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, even going back to like his involvement in Tupac's death and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah, like
I never knew
there's
that.
some kind of like story of him being. There's a documentary. I forget what it's called, but his involvement. Either it's payment or a way of like somehow he's like kind of involved in that. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah. All right, I think we've spent too much time on current events because
usually not our thing.
No, but there's just so much stuff going on. It's
I
just
know.
like crazy. This week has been just so like just with everything, all this stuff going on. But a lot of one, like we're here to bring you news, current events, and then all of like your information, the breaking news when it comes to NFL stuff. And we talked about the rule changes in a previous episode. Before, I mean, I feel like this is where, we were like at the forefront of this and talking about it.
We were.
And it's now come out, and this is all the NFL changes. Big changes coming to the NFL.
Do you want to do the kickoff one first, or do you want to do the tackle?
We'll do the hip. The tackle, it's a. I'll give you just the article now that how it's being written out. So we had talked about that on a previous episode of a possible change to the hip drop tackle. Let me read you because they actually did go through. They pass it, and now this is an illegal form of tackling.
Yep.
And I'll read it for you. The hip drop tackle is a foul if a player uses the following technique to bring a runner to the ground. A, grabs the runner with both hands and wraps the runner with both arms. And B, unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lowering the body, landing and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knee. So
that right there. So I can picture that tackle.
Sure.
Right? I can picture that. It happens every year.
Yeah.
Some guys get hurt by it. Some guys don't.
Right.
But most of the time, it's like a high ankle sprain type of injury that comes from that. From the wrapping up. You let your lower body and whole body actually weigh on them.
Sure.
And then as your hips kind of swivel around with momentum, you take their legs out. But it's not done on purpose.
Right.
I think it just happens.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like how it's somewhat, not a technique, but you do learn that. You learn like when you tackle. And this, by the way, comes off of you can't hit a certain way. Like in a weird way,
Yes.
the NFL has kind of created this form of tackling because you can't come high. You have to come low. Otherwise, you are going to get penalized.
Yeah.
So it's become a way that you drop your momentum, you drop your center of gravity. You can't use your helmet. You can't lead with your helmet.
Yeah.
So you have to come down low.
You're absorbing a lot of it.
Yeah. And in that, a way to kind of like in a whatever it is, jujitsu or where you're taking your opponent's like energy and kind of using it against them. That's kind of what it is. someone's coming to you, you kind of use their momentum against them to kind of like spin them and take them down.
Yeah. It's so because what it does happen, if you're chasing a guy down, it could happen. You get ran through. But if everyone can picture this, a corner is covering the outside receiver.
Right.
Okay. The outside receiver runs a slant. Okay. Quarterback puts the ball right on the money. That corner is playing outside and he goes to break up the pass. Okay. If he doesn't break it up, he's gonna go for the tackle.
Right.
So let's say he doesn't and he goes to make the tackle, like he naturally is going to land on the guy's legs.
Yeah. Well,
So
especially
is that a penalty?
well, if he's trailing and there's really, I mean, he's already kind of sold out in order to try and make a play on the ball. There, like you do make a dive. It's a
like
simultaneous dive wrap up because you're going to make the tackle.
If you don't make the play, you got to make the tackle. Yes.
But so you're leaving your feet to make a defensive play to knock down the ball while simultaneously trying to make the tackle. And in that case, if you can't get your feet back under you at that point,
Correct.
you're going to fall with the momentum. It's going to now it has to change the way a defender defends the pass.
Or anything really. But I don't know. It's 15 yards, right?
15-yard penalty,
So
yeah.
15-yard penalty, and it's up for interpretation.
And an automatic first down.
And I don't like it. For me, it falls under the category of roughing the passer,
Yeah.
where I think roughing the passer has gotten out of control.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the quarterbacks wear pads too.
Yeah.
And they have helmets on. Like, it's part of the game. It's part of their position. You can't protect everyone.
Yeah.
You're getting to a point where you're protecting and trying to make it so safe that you're taking the great things away by doing that.
Yeah, and it's gotten to be like there's a different way that players are playing, and it's become less. I mean, it's just become kind of a less like. I mean, I guess maybe this is what their intention is. It's a less physical sport. Now it's more just kind of like you're trying to keep like distance. You're trying to like tackle in a proper way. You're trying to like not hit a player, and it's just. I mean, I guess. It kind of goes to what I think the offense, what the NFL is always trying to do, which is like make it a more offense.
Scoring.
And I think they say it's like, to protect players, and, that may be true, but it's also just like, I guess the net result from that is just now offenses are just running up scores because defenses have to adjust to these rules.
Yeah, I feel bad for the defensive guys. You can't hit with your helmet. You can't lead with your helmet.
Yeah.
The offense has all the advantage of pass interference, 15-yard, or, spot foul now, or it has been in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so in their advantage.
Yeah.
And I think, like, everyone's going to play slower. Everyone's going to worry about, did I do this or did I do that?
Yeah.
And I understand, like, guys will adapt. Like, getting the helmet out of the game has slowly gotten better.
Yeah.
But it's taken forever.
It's taken a long time for sure. And I mean, it's tackling has just been a lot different. I mean, you're seeing guys like Aaron Donald's a perfect example of that. And obviously that's more news, like just retired and, good for him. He's had an amazing career, and we can do a whole podcast just on his career and what he's done. But a lot of his sacks, if you see him, a lot of those are swinging, getting to the quarterback and swinging them to the ground and not laying on top of them, because it's very easy for him to get a penalty.
Heavens forbid you land on a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's because the rules have changed, and now somebody who is like, has all their momentum, they're going straight at a quarterback, now has to let up and be in, like, put himself in a position to make a tackle that's not, that's where he's not going to just like, run full force at him to save a penalty. He did it in the NFC Championship game against the Niners against Jimmy G, spun him around, and Jimmy G just kind of hucked it up and caused an interception. He did it to Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl, spun him around, same thing. All his sacks come that way because these rule changes and how you have to approach tackling the quarterback and not getting a roughing the passer call.
Yeah, a lot of players reached out or expressed their frustrations on X or on Twitter.
Yeah,
and just might as well get the flags out and just turn this into flag football.
It's getting to be
it's
that rule's going to come out. I think it's getting passed around the owners brunch. Start throwing out some flag football and start putting some Velcro on their shoulder pads.
All right. The next one is we talked about it, the kickoff rule. They're taking the XFL's kickoff and applying it, and in the big bold letters it says only for 1 year. They're gonna try it.
I honestly thought that this wouldn't pass. It's such a big change.
Yeah, it's
a monumental change to the way that the kickoff has been for the past, I don't know, like 100 years. How long has it been since this has been this way?
Last year they had their lowest return rate.
Yeah.
So I think they were like, okay,
got to do something.
This isn't going to get better. If anything, it's going to get worse.
Well, we talked about it. Like if this is like shelf space at a supermarket, this product isn't moving up here. The kickoff has been kind of obsolete and it's been a formality. And you know, when I honestly didn't think it was going to pass. Now that it has, I was even shocked that it was just going to be like a trial year for I mean, I guess it makes sense now in hindsight.
Yeah.
They're going to try it out and see how it goes. But all the things that we covered, I mean, we covered kind of briefly like what the rules were going to be, but now we got like the full scope of everything.
Yeah, so here it is. So the ball's going to get kicked from the 35. That's the same as it is right now.
Yeah.
No change there.
Yeah.
No big deal. Okay. So the kicking team, so it's just going to be the kicker.
Yeah.
All the other guys, all 10 dudes are going to be spread out on the 40-yard line.
Okay.
On the receiving team's 40. So they're on the other side of the 50. Okay. So they're all lined up. They're going to section them off to where you have to have a couple guys on this side of the numbers, a couple guys on the hash.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to kind of like evenly distribute kind of everyone.
You'll have to have a certain amount of players, just as you do when you're lining up. You have a certain amount of players on the line and then behind.
Yeah. So, and then after that, those dudes cannot move until the ball hits the target area.
So kickoff goes, everybody stands still.
Everyone's staying still.
No movement until when?
So once the ball hits the ground in the target zone,
okay,
which is the 20 to the end zone,
okay,
or the returner catches it,
okay,
the receiving team can have two returners back there, or one. It's up to them.
Okay.
So if they have two back there, then the other 9 guys are lined up 5 yards apart from the other dudes.
Okay.
So they're on the 35. You got to have at least 7 guys on the 35. You can have 2 kind of draped back on the 30.
Oh,
so they have like a 5-yard window they could be in.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can just kind of offset them from the line,
but
not
only
a return man. You're not gonna have another return man back there.
No, just between that 5 yards.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they could have 2 returners, 7 dudes on the line. Okay, they got to set up all this stuff. Okay, let's say the dude kicks the ball off.
Okay.
He doesn't make it to the 20.
Okay.
Say whatever, he just like windy day, he slips, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't land inside the 20.
Okay.
Okay. If it's a dead ball.
Yeah.
The offense gets the ball on the 40-yard line.
On the 40-yard
line. Okay. It's treated like the ball got kicked out of bounds.
Oh, okay.
Is how they're treating it.
So it's like a penalty is what they're calling it.
Exactly. Let's say they make it into the target zone. Okay. There's no fair catches, so they have to return it.
No fair catch at all.
None.
Yeah.
So once they make it in the target zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 20 back.
20 going back. If it lands somewhere in there and rolls out, or the guy, like, say, downs it in the end zone, they get the ball on the 20.
Okay.
Okay.
So going back to old school.
Exactly.
20-yard
Going back,
line.
balls on the 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Say they just like, we don't want to deal with this. Just kick it out the freaking back of the end zone.
Yeah.
Like pretty much how they're doing it now.
Yeah.
If they do that, then the offense gets it on the 30. So 10-yard difference.
Yeah.
There.
10-yard difference, a 5-yard net gain from what it used to be before for kicking it out of the end zone.
Yeah. But this one that I really liked. Okay. So penalties on a PAT. So
Okay.
let's say you drive down and you score.
Okay.
Okay. You're kicking your PAT and we have a little scuffle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Scuttlebutt.
A little dust up and
Yeah.
your
Fisticuffs.
your offensive alignment gets a penalty.
Okay.
Okay. We've all seen this
Always
before.
alignment. Always getting into it. Yeah.
Always. The ref goes, the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Okay.
Okay. All the guys will stay at the 40 and the 35.
All right.
The kicker is the guy who will move.
The kicker takes it back.
Yes.
And wait, hold on. He's starting at the 35 previously. So if it's a 15-yard
Penalty on you, and you're about to kick off the ball to me, that means your little kicker is going to back up to the
20-yard line.
He's going to back up to the
line.
20, and he's got to make it to my 20.
And if he doesn't, he falls short.
Then I get the ball on the 40.
You're getting at the 40.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So that one I thought was like
Dude,
pretty
that is
interesting.
like everybody, you got to be like mind your P's and Q's in the PAT. No penalties.
Yeah, you don't want any of that business.
No personal fouls. No like getting into it with anybody. And it's from the kickoff or from the tee, correct? It's not like a punt. Like you're not just like free.
I don't believe you can punt it. I'm pretty positive it's a tee.
All right, let's think. Like,
That could be
do the
something
math
that
on
I didn't find if they can punt it or not.
All right, so you have to get it to the 20-yard line on the receiving team's 20-yard line if
Yes.
you were at the 20. So from the 20 to the 50 is 30 yards. From the 50 to the 20 is another 30. So you have to kick it 60 yards. You got to be able to boot it 60 yards.
Yeah,
And
which they can.
Yeah, I guess
can.
It's good. It'll be tough, but
Yeah, they can.
yeah. But you can't slip. Hey, you're talking about those windy days. You're
Yeah.
over in Mile High Stadium, or
Dude, you're playing in Chicago or something. Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, Chicago. That's a better one because Mile High, you'll probably sail it out of the end zone
Yeah.
even from the 20.
Yeah.
But Chicago, that's gonna cause some issues.
Yeah, so that's been the final. So either the ball gets on the 20,
Yeah.
on the 30, or you return it. I'm interested to see some of the blocking schemes that they're going to kind of come up with.
Yeah.
You know, crossing guys, kicking guys out, and try to hit certain spots. That part, the X's and O's part, from my point of view, is going to be kind of interesting how they're going to draw things up.
Yeah, because if you just kind of base on that, you can have two players or two players behind that front line
Yeah.
of 7, keep them back a little bit. I mean, it gives you somewhat of an advantage because they can get back quicker. Who knows if that's even going to be a thing anymore? Because it used to be kickoff, everybody kind of jet back
Yeah,
and kind of
maybe everyone just goes forward, yeah.
form the wall and get to your position.
Yeah.
This might just be go forward, put on some blocking, start to like down block now instead of pass block.
Yeah.
Essentially, because it comes
almost
down to.
run like counter or something. Like, hey, I'm going to go block that dude over there. You're going to come block my guy over here. Let's cross block. Like,
Dude, you could start scheming up like
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
Having like people pull around,
Exactly.
do like a little end around.
Yeah.
And then you have two receivers in the backfield,
you
or
could,
bring up your one.
Yeah, you could do one returner.
Yeah, bring up your one just to, man, there's a lot
But
of.
if you go one returner and that ball lands on like the 18, they get it in.
Yeah.
Dude, and he doesn't get there in time or something. I don't know. Like,
It could be if he's lined up on the opposite side of the field.
yeah.
I mean, at that point, yeah, you would probably just keep him floating in the middle. But then all his momentum, like if you do kick it to that side, all his momentum's going that way. And now he has to reset and turn it upfield. And then also, what does your blocking do at that point? Because then you have to like, it's going to be kind of a game time decision.
Dude, it's
Ball's going to your right. All right, blocking's going right. And here's what we're doing.
Well, they'll
running the
probably
play.
dial up 2 returns, right? If you see the ball go this side, that means we're blocking here. If it goes
Yeah.
that way, we're blocking here.
Yeah.
And they could try some different stuff. But man, it's going to be, I think, a smart move by the NFL. They're going to get people to tune in, see it.
I guarantee you.
And try it for that 1 year.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
and
going
then-
to be so many people who A, don't listen to this podcast so that they don't know the rule, and then just kind of had their heads buried in the sand and are waiting for season to come on. When that happens, they're going to be like, what is going on?
Hey, yeah, for sure. And then when you're at somebody's house, you got dragged to someone's house and they're watching football.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh, what's going on with this? Or where's the ball? Blah, blah, blah. And and you're
just, well, for everybody listening, just send them to this episode.
Yes.
Just put it on play, put your headphones on, and we'll explain it to them.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's been it. So those things went through.
Yeah. Well, it was, again, we broke the news. We were, I think, at the forefront of this entire topic. And now you got your answers. You came here from the beginning, got some information, and now we delivered the hard facts on what's going on. So it'll be interesting to see how the season comes up. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this.
This episode is brought to you by Cigar Spots. Cigar Spots is located in the Circle of Orange.
Yeah, they have all your big brands like Fuente, Padron, Tatuaje, Ilusión. I mean, they've got pretty much every brand that you can imagine. My favorite, my go-to is always the Tatuaje brand. I like the specific 2012 Sumatra. That's my smoke. What do you got?
Nice. I've been going with the Tatuaje Red Label.
Yeah, Red Label's good. So they do at-home delivery. You can place your order online, and they'll deliver your cigars straight to your house. Or you can order for pickup. You can actually order online, and then they'll have it ready for you. You can just swing in, put some hazards on, and go and pick up your cigars and be done.
And don't forget the promo code.
Promo code Tony Joe when you check out, and get yourself 20% off your order. So visit cigarspots.com and use that promo code Tony Joe. All right, we are back from break. All right, we're bringing back a oldie but goodie.
That's right. We're going to play overrated, underrated, or just right.
This is one of my favorites from back in the day.
Yeah, so we've played this game a couple times, couple different categories.
Yeah.
And today's category is life experiences.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
You got a couple, I got a couple. We'll go ping pong back and forth.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right, first one. Overrated, underrated, or just right, New Year's Eve celebration.
Those are overrated. Those are so overrated. I mean, like, we have to wait. First of all, we have to wait for the countdown, and we're always going off of like Pacific Standard Time, like countdown. Meanwhile, it's already happened in Australia. It's already happened in Paris. It's already happened in wherever, and then it goes to New York. Why don't we just celebrate like whatever the first one is? Oh. Is it Australia? If that's the one, if Australia or New Zealand's the one that is like the New Year's, let's all collectively as the world just celebrate that. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because why do I have to stay up till midnight? Meanwhile, everyone's already celebrated. You're watching fireworks in New Zealand or Australia, and they're like, "It's New Year's Eve."
Watched fireworks from.
Well, they cut to it. They cut to it. They'll say like, "Oh, it's New Year's in Australia. It's New Year's in Paris. Here, you're at the Eiffel Tower," and it's like, well, this means nothing now. Oh. It's already like, you know what I mean? Like, you've already celebrated, or it's already been celebrated somewhere, and now everyone's cleaning up, and we're like in the back, going like, "Happy New Year" for like 10 hours later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Way overrated.
All right. I'm going overrated also. The buildup and the pressure to be at a party, be at a good situation, be where it's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
It's all
it's too much. It's not worth it. It's the sun's gonna come up tomorrow. Like, it doesn't matter.
No,
like,
I'm with you.
I'm going overrated.
Overrated. I'm with you. All right, I got one here for you. Prom.
High school prom.
High school prom.
Just right, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's overrated, and I wouldn't say it's definitely not underrated. I'd say it's probably just right. You're with some friends and some buddies, and you go to prom, and you do the pictures, and you do the deal, and nothing good or bad. I would just say just right.
Just right, yeah. You get the. I'm gonna say. I'm inclined to go just right, but I think it's a little underrated. One, just because it's one time that you get to like put on a tuxedo when you're super young, or like a suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like literal 3-piece suit. When's the last time you wore a 3-piece suit? Not you specifically. They'll just say the royal you.
Yeah, it's been
Your
a while.
wedding.
Yeah.
I like we're 16 years old, 17 years old, wearing a 3-piece suit, looking super dapper. You rent like a nice limo. You go out to a nice fancy dinner. Okay, maybe the fancy dinner is like Rudabagores or something like that. The Spaghetti Factory.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you're going underrated.
I think it's underrated. I think it is a good like you have a great time. You have pictures that that last for. I mean, I don't know.
Dude, I saw an old dance picture.
Yeah.
I was cleaning out the garage and just like thumbing through stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw like an old dance picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it wasn't prom, but it was one of the many dances. But yeah.
The Sadies when you were wearing like matching
No. It wasn't any of
matching
that.
hats.
No, it was definitely like I was in like a tux or something.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Underrated.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Just right. All right, here we go. Next one. Overrated, underrated, or just right? Weddings.
Oh man, this is like in the same vein.
Okay, let's divide it, or let's go into two.
Okay.
Your own wedding,
Ooh, okay.
and then attending weddings. So give me yours.
Man. I would say it's I think it's just right.
Your wedding?
My wedding was amazing. I had a great time at my wedding. We had
so underrated.
I'll go underrated. Yeah.
Okay.
We had a great band. Well, you were there. Yeah,
was
you were
there.
in the wedding.
I was.
I don't have to tell you. Flash Pants was there. It was a great. Like we had a cigar roller. It's like
The donuts.
the donuts. DK's Donuts.
Oh my god.
DK's Donuts was at my wedding, by the way. Just to give you a little peek inside into how much I love those donuts and how much I support that business. DK Donuts at my wedding, and they were really, really good.
Yeah.
He made some special ones. Adam Bond hooked it up for those for my wedding.
Okay, so your wedding underrated.
Yeah, I'll go underrated.
Going to weddings.
I'll go just right. I'm a sucker for weddings. I do love going to weddings. I love the idea of two people who love each other getting putting on a party and saying like, hey, I want everybody to come out here and see us, tie the knot. The food is usually pretty good. An open bar is good. All right, I'll say this. If there's no open bar and if the food's like mediocre, then it's overrated.
Don't even invite me.
Don't even invite you. If I don't have an option between steak and chicken, don't even invite me.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna match answers here. My own wedding, I probably underrated. I had a great time.
Dude, it was great.
I had a great time. Had a blast.
Brought some cigars.
Going to weddings, I would say is just right.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. It's fun. If it's the right couple and you want to go to the wedding.
Yeah.
Because there's been some weddings where you're kind of forced to go.
Yeah.
Those ones I could do without. But,
Those ones. Yeah,
but let's just say
you.
for the sake of the game, you want to go.
Yeah.
They're just right. They're a great
Just
time.
right. It's a good time. Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. All right, here we go. Overrated, underrated, or just right. Music festivals.
Oh.
Or we can go concerts.
Well, I mean, like either one, I think are just right. I don't think that they're overrated. They're definitely not like underrated. I mean, depending on if you're going to go see a band that you really like, maybe I'll go underrated. Because if you're going to go see a band that you really, really like,
Sure.
Look, if you've listened to like an album over and over again, every lyric, every chord change and every, octave change, everything about it front and back, to see it performed by the person who created it, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your answer?
I'll go underrated.
Okay.
Underrated. Yeah.
I'm going to go underrated too. I love live music.
Yeah.
I love going. I remember being 16 years old and driving out to the Blockbuster Pavilion for a summer sanitarium tour with like Metallica and like System of, or like, you know, gosh, who was there? Slipknot and like, dude, all those dudes. Like, I totally remember. Like, there's nothing cooler than a live show to where you can like get into it and lose yourself in it and have a great time.
Dude, I am so with you. I just recently got to see a band that I've been listening to for forever, but didn't get a chance to see them because they had seemingly broken up. It was the Mars Volta. Dude, I love that band. I listened to like every album and I'm so like into them and thought like I'll never be able to see them live ever. And then unbeknownst to me, they came out and they did a tour and we went and saw them and it was incredible. I just to be able to see them perform, like I was saying before, live, the songs that you know, that you and I know that we love, and seeing them perform it live was it was really, really cool.
All right, underrated.
Core memory. Talk about a core memory there.
All right, here we go. Next one. Overrated, underrated, or just right. Fireworks on the 4th of July.
Fireworks. Okay. I'll say overrated for the novice. For the novice, like, you know, firework who just goes to, you know, Santa Ana and go picks up like a pack of Piccolo Pete's.
Don't knock it. Don't knock it now. Dude, City of Orange, they're gonna.
Oh, that's right. That just changed.
Yeah, we're gonna be. Got the green light to do fireworks.
We're gonna have some accidents. We're gonna have some historic buildings burned down.
Probably.
Probably. We're gonna have some historic fingers blown off. That's for sure.
Probably.
You know, I'm gonna say I'll just go just right. I don't want to say they're underrated because they are pretty awesome when you light them up and you just see like the craziness. But most people are. I mean, most fireworks that you see, they're just like little boxes that you just kind of put them off. I think what are underrated are like the Mexicans got something going on over there. They know how to do fireworks. Like those fireworks are definitely like.
Okay, so now you're saying like your run of the mill street fireworks that you can get the TNT ones.
TNT.
Right. So those are overrated.
Those are overrated for sure.
The big.
Well, you always have to like modify those. Like, have you ever gotten a Piccolo Pete and like you have to like hammer the end of them? Have you ever done that?
No.
If you hammer the end of a Piccolo Pete, I think that's what they're called, it'll do the whole like scream, you know, like the screeching. When it gets to the end, it like blows up.
Oh,
it's like a big like boom. So you have to modify those ones to make them cool. Otherwise, you just get the, you know, the little box that's kind of like,
and it just fountains
out, or you got to get a ladder, you know what I mean? And I think with all those fireworks, you have to modify them in order for them to be cool. You got to break out the A-frame, put it on top, and so that it kind of has like a more cascading, like, you know what I mean?
Or the spinny wheel. Remember the old spinny wheel?
Oh yeah, the one that you and then everyone's got to like jump out of the way because it's like coming near their feet. I mean, even that, you have to like create some danger and throw it to a friend in order for it to be like, if you just took it, put it in the middle of the street, lit it, and just watch it go zoom, it would just be like, okay, cool. You have to add some excitement to it by throwing it in a crowd. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what about like a big fireworks show that's like professionally put on?
Oh, underrated. Fred Kelly?
Underrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's, I like, that kind of like, just to see the like the boom and like the whole like the same thing with those fireworks from Mexico, like those they pack a punch. Like those things like are like almost like, it seems like they're pretty, I don't know, like high grade.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go just right because after a while I feel like I'm looking at the same thing.
Yeah,
I feel like after a while I've felt the boom in my chest enough. I'm ready to. Yeah. It's usually mosquito. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, you're ready.
Yeah, that's just me though. So I'll say just right.
I'm with you. Yeah. All right. Next one. Nice, clean, fresh sheets on a bed.
Oh my gosh. So nice. So nice. So underrated.
Underrated for sure.
And you just move your feetsies around. And
you
feel, like just Underrated, awesome.
It's just nice and crisp and like just
Yes.
fresh.
Yes.
You ever like get under when it's like cold out or whatever, and you just kind of get under like that excitement of getting all nice and cozy?
Yes, dude. So good. So good.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like that's like a grown up thing to like appreciate and
Yeah.
to like love.
Yeah.
Because when you're younger, sheets were sheets. You kind of like
You didn't even know.
well, I mean, I know like guys get like a bad rep for like not changing out their sheets like enough. I was one that like changed them pretty regularly. I don't know if you were. Yeah.
Just whenever.
Yeah.
Or I needed to, yeah. I don't know.
But now, like out of the dryer,
Oh.
on there, just when you can
Crisp.
kind of roll those ends over, just
Oh, yeah.
nice and tight.
Yep.
Oh, pull them taut. Do you do the tuck in? Do you tuck the ends in?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Tuck them in. Do you tuck in the sides?
Yes.
All right. When you're in,
Yes.
do you push up so that you can get a little bit of space?
Like the hotel,
Yeah.
hotel beds that are so tight. You're like a straight jacket.
Yeah. You need a little bit of space. So you just push down out a little bit.
I don't go that tight, but yes, I
Yeah,
love
it's like military style.
Those fresh sheets, man. Ooh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. Last one. Overrated, underrated, or just right. Naps.
I don't take enough naps. I feel like I should. I feel like those are. It's the perfect like reset. I mean, it's hard to like kind of like when I have taken a nap. You either take a like 10-minute nap that just feels like just like your anxiety because you've slept too long, or you've fallen asleep and then the sun goes down and you're like wake up wondering if you've been asleep for like
What day is it?
days.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Which is the most that is the most horrible feeling when you wake up and you don't know what time it is. The sun's gone down. Your lights are off in your house and you're just looking around going like, what just happened? It is such a weird feeling. You won't get right for another day or two. Like it sits with you. And then you can't go to bed because you've slept for 4 hours or whatever it is.
Screwed it all up.
And then you're up. It's like 2 a.m. and you're wide awake and you're like, well, tomorrow's gonna suck because now I'm gonna like only get like I never went into my REM where I got good sound sleep.
Yeah.
And then the next day is all screwed up too. You
All
know
right.
what?
So
Overrated. Naps are overrated.
Talked myself into it. They're overrated. Dude, I'm going to say like a good quick cat nap.
Yeah.
Like as I've gotten older, I don't know about you, but I will fall asleep on the couch at any moment of the day. Any moment. Like it doesn't, dude, kids are yelling and doing stuff. Dude,
Yeah.
I will be
Just
out
knock
like a light.
out. Sometimes that helps go to sleep when you got some commotion around you and you're just kind of like, it's like a little white noise in the background.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you on the don't go too long.
Yeah. There's a sweet
Yeah.
spot.
And then those short ones, that little cat nap, you hit 20 minutes, 30 minutes max.
Yeah.
Those ones, just right. All the other ones,
Yeah.
too short and too longs, way overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You can mess yourself up for sure. Yeah. You really got to like dial it in and get that right. Like
Set the phone alarm and put it right on your chest. Yeah. All right, that's it. That's all of them.
All right, that's some good stuff. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back after this. All right, this episode is brought to you by Pro West Electrical. Pro West Electrical is owned by our friend, who we went to high school with, Anthony Sabasco. He's got over 15 years of electrical experience. His company does panel replacement, do recessed lighting. They actually did all the electrical and the recessed lighting in my house. They do switches, EV chargers, Ring doorbell. They'll change a light bulb in your house if you want them to, if you pay them to.
That's right. And you can visit their website, prowestelectrical.net, or you give them a call, 714-306-1570.
Pro West Electrical, powering up your world. All right, and we are back from break. All right, J Mitch, I want to take this time to talk about a little confusion that's in the industry. I don't know if you've heard, but it's been out there. Just recently, the National Association of Realtors came to a settlement. It's been an ongoing like litigation. It's been years since this started. In a nutshell, there was a lawsuit that just came out kind of claiming some things about the National Association of Realtors and, how things were, how their operation was going and how it maybe put some sellers at a disadvantage.
Who brought on the lawsuit?
So there's a couple guys, I think it was out in Missouri, a couple homeowners that wanted to file a class action lawsuit, just kind of saying like, hey, we didn't know that rates are negotiable. We've kind of just assumed that this was how it should be.
Rates with the
commission rates.
Okay.
Yeah. So commission rates, the way that they're paid out, the seller agrees to pay the listing agent, and then they also agree to pay the seller's agent. Now, it's been something that is for as long as business has been kind of conducted, that it's a negotiable rate. What the lawsuit, and not to go really into all of the litigation because it's still ongoing, so I don't want to get too in the weeds in that specifically, but in a nutshell, there was just some differences in what the general public believed how things should have gone or should be, and where things kind of in reality where they land. Okay. And I hate to be vague, but it's only because a settlement's been reached, but it has been signed off. A judge still needs to sign off on all these things, so that's still kind of ongoing. But in a nutshell, and kind of where I wanted to kind of clear some of the misconception or the misunderstanding is. Real estate agents, moving forward, part of this settlement, real estate agents are going to be required to sign an agreement with the buyer prior to even showing a house. So this is
before showing?
Before anything, you have to have a buyer agency agreement that says, me, the real estate agent, is going to take you, the potential real estate purchaser, out to purchase homes. Here's going to be the commission that's going to be paid, whether it's going to be paid by the homeowner or it's going to be paid by you, the person who's going to be purchasing the house. Okay. So there is going to be a big difference in the way that things operate in terms of how agents get paid. It's still, there is still going to be a need for real estate agents to kind of help during a transaction or guide during a transaction. There won't be this, it's not going to be a upfront, here's the status quo. And that's kind of what this lawsuit brought about, is over the course of the years, there's been kind of somewhat of a status quo. Now, while all rates are negotiable, what the claim is, or what the big kind of sticking point is, consumers didn't know that they could negotiate this rate, and whether or not it was spelled out explicitly or if it was just kind of a understood, thing that me as a homeowner, if I'm going to sell my house, I can put whatever rate I want. I don't have to do the standard or the industry standard. I can do whatever rate. I can offer whatever rate.
So if I'm going to buy a house and I go to a realtor, and then him and I could say, in the end, you're going to get paid 3%.
Yeah.
And then he could say, well, 6.
Yeah.
And then, so is that kind of like?
Yeah. I mean, kind of. There is, it's just kind of always been negotiated on the seller side.
Oh, okay.
The sellers didn't know that they had an option in this matter, or at least that's the claim. And it's always been, you can negotiate your rate. When I was, selling my house, years ago, I negotiated my rate and what I was going to pay my real estate agent who listed it for me. And we negotiated down from what he offered, and I got, a different rate.
So these people are claiming they didn't know that they could do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're claiming that the entire industry is kind of like, oh, like this is just do it.
Yeah, like this is so, and whatever like that came out in the lawsuit. And again, like I'm very like trying to be very mindful of like how I'm presenting this to everybody, because it is still ongoing, and I don't want to, I don't want to say something that kind of, goes against whatever it is that is
happening.
Yeah. So just as a general, there, whatever has happened in that lawsuit, in the end, it will change how things happen in the industry. It will change the approach that buyers will have with their agents that represent them. And I think that it's going to allow buyers to have a more kind of transparent approach to buying and selling. Now, on the seller side, they now have an option of whether or not they even want to offer a commission. They may just say, hey, I'm not going to offer a commission at all on my house. If someone comes and wants to buy it, let them figure out what they're going to get paid from their agent and not through me. I'm not going to give it a commission at all. Now, in Orange County, there is so much competition with houses.
Yeah.
There is so many buyers out there and so few houses that it might be just something that is, we're going to like see how everything plays out. None of this is supposed to take place or go into effect until July.
Okay.
So as of right now, things are still kind of fluid and they're moving around and there's still some kind of moving pieces. The settlement, which was, the National Association of Realtors settled just to say, we don't want to put our members through any of this like ongoing litigation. Let's just kind of get to a point where everyone just is happy with the outcome. Let's just move on so we can kind of continue on with our members doing business and we can kind of put this past us. So it'll all happen in July when these changes take place. And it'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of uncertainty of how these changes are going to take place in the marketplace, how they're going to show up in just everyday sales transactions.
So do you think there's going to be a lot of change though? Because if it's between a buyer and a seller and their realtor,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, is that going to, I don't know, it could have a ripple effect or a domino effect, but like, is that going to really affect the entire?
It's somewhat similar to how the kickoff rule is being implemented. And right now, no one knows how they're going to approach it.
That's true.
And so a lot of it is very similar. There's a lot of parallels between that, which is, we've had something that has kind of, that has been a certain way for a number of years. Now there's a big change to how that gets done. But in the end, there's still, nothing changes in this market in that there's still not enough homes for people to purchase, and there's still a lot of people who want to buy houses. That's going to be the common, thread or the common denominator in this situation. It'll be interesting to see how those changes affect that and what happens once that goes into effect, how these changes are going to be seen in the industry, what they're going to do, whether or not, buyers agents are going to, if they can get a buyer agency agreement, what that's going to look at, how it's going to pencil out, or how just everybody adapts to these new things. Now, in the NFL's case and, all these teams, they'll find ways to how they can kind of what they're going to do to strategize against
or tackle different.
Tackle different, yeah.
Or don't hip drop.
Yeah.
Don't twist hip drop, whatever they're going to call it now.
Yeah. But you make adjustments. And I think that that's what is ultimately the big thing. I know there's a lot of people in the industry right now just kind of, running around like their hair's on fire because they don't know what's going to happen. What I would say is just, if an agent is good and knowledgeable and that has your best interests in mind, is going to be an asset to you, those are the agents that I think are going to really do, kind of make it through this, or the ones that are going to adapt and be in a position where they could still provide that quality to their clients, even if whatever this situation is and the way how it's going to get played out, they'll be able to make those adjustments.
Adapt and survive.
Just wanted to, kind of go out and it's been a big topic of conversation as of recently, and just wanted to at least like give a little bit of like insight into what's going on there and how some of these changes will kind of affect you as a buyer and just everybody in the real estate industry as a whole. So, I hope that provided a little bit of clarity there. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for always coming back, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, find us, give us a rating on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you can. Thanks always to Blake Means for the theme music, and yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.